So these are all the search engines there are. I mean, there's many, many more, but we're going to go right into search engines and kind of how search engines tie heavily into key commerce, the history of search engines, and PageRank. All right, a lot of really important stuff. You guys excited for this? I know I am, so let's just jump right into this. All right. So using search engines is how almost everyone finds websites on the internet. It's when you type a word or group of words on Google known as search term or search query, and Google immediately looks through their index of websites to try to find the best results, all right? Google does this by looking for or crawling websites using spiders and giving them a score based on over 200 factors. Google then presents what it believes are the best websites based on your search term. Sometimes Google and other search engines will also show you ads. They will show you ads if advertisers believe that your search term is good for their business and they can turn you into a paying customer. So Amazon, eBay, and Facebook and Instagram, again, are all search engines. All of them are search engines. So unless you want to sell this to your friends and family, you're going to really need to learn how to appease them. Like I just said. So you need to show up when people search for your products. And to do that, you need to learn, again, how search engines work. When you want to find something on the internet, you'll want to Google it, right? But did Google start it all? No, there actually were a dozen other search engines before Google started, which was only in 1998. But Google right now is by far the world's most used search engine. So you might be asking, how did Google take over the search engine market? It is because they invented a way to rank search results using an algorithm they patented called PageRank. Very important to know what PageRank is. PageRank works by counting the number and the quality of links to a page to determine a rough estimate of how important the website is. The underlying assumption is the more important websites are likely to receive more links from other websites, right? So Google's algorithm has improved a lot over the years, continually focusing on user experience, which is why Google is still the best. I'll circle more on user experience later. Their updates even have cute names like Panda, Penguin, Hummingbird, Pigeon. So Google's constantly updating their algorithm. And again, this is a little bit of search engine. I might even want to do this with, let me stop sharing screens real quick and see if I stop sharing. This is literally like crawling the web. So back in the day, Sergey Brin and Larry Page, the both founders of Google, was at stanford.edu, right? So they decided how they're going to actually do this was through stanford.edu. So, sorry, I've got really bad handwriting, all right? So before they're going to try to, organize the world's information, they had to first gather the world's information. So they thought, okay, how are we going to do this? How are we actually going to crawl or, download and get the entire internet, right? And then let alone organize it afterwards. So the first thing they thought of is how they're going to possibly gather all the data. And they decided to do something called the backlink. Backlinks are crucial to SEO and how these algorithms work. So Stanford.edu said, okay, let's go find everybody that backlinks to us, right? So let's just say that Berkeley.edu, one of their big competitors, Berkeley.edu, and then, I don't know, Wikipedia, Wiki, ESPN, because they do sports, and then, right, and then from ESPN, maybe Fox does ESPN, and then maybe MSNBC does Fox, and then these quickly giant go off and off and off. And that's why it looks like a web, like a giant spider web. And that's how they end up crawling all the data. They're using backlinks. So backlinks became vital, and that's also how they really rank most of these websites. That's the number one component. I'm going to now start back into sharing screens. Just want to make sure we went over just kind of the awesomeness of Google and how they really changed the game for all search engines. So what we're going to do is, now that you know the history of search engines and why kind of Google reigns supreme, let's talk about how to be found on search engines and all the other major search engines. First, obviously, you need to create a website, right? You need to optimize your website's SEO. That's what we're talking about right now. Next, You install Google Analytics on your website, which we will talk about afterwards. After that, we set Google Analytics goals, views, filters. Then we link our Google Analytics to our Google Ads. Then we enable advertising and remarketing features. Very important. It's really good to use remarketing. We want to create remarketing audiences. I'll teach you how to do all this. Again, this is kind of the agenda for today. We're going to enable e-commerce tracking, set up Google Merchant Center, upload our product feed into Google Merchant Center, link Google Merchant Center to our Google Ads as well, create shopping campaigns, create dynamic remarketing campaigns, create Google search campaigns, and then optimize our campaigns regularly. That's how we're going to go over all of this. Lots to go over.